First, I wanted to just quickly review this idea of emotional intelligence. There's also another article in there from the Harvard Business Review on the idea of work-life balance. I encourage you to read that. It's a really interesting article about having clear purpose. I mentioned you are the generation that has a better work-life balance probably than our generation did, and that's an important part of your success in life, because if you end up going through a divorce or something in your career, you're going to find out that that's a big distraction from doing your work and from the more important things in life. So emotional intelligence, and the reason we bring this up, this was a study in the Harvard Business Review by Daniel Goleman. He wrote the book about emotional intelligence. I know you had some things on this. I just want to quickly review the ideas here. And I think, again, this is really important because it's as important as anything that you're going to do, and it's the way your technical skills are critical. But if you don't have these kind of things, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills, you're going nowhere, whether it's in the firms or in a large company. So just want to kind of go over these again. This idea of self-awareness, that's the idea, and I'm going to spend most of the time in the energy management, but I'd like you to read the article. That's just the idea that you're aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You're cognizant of what you're good at and what you're not good at. And all of us, there aren't any people in here, in E&Y, in Siemens, or in the federal government that are good at everything, okay? And so it's recognizing and being candid and honest about where your weaknesses are as a way to improve. And so self-awareness is this idea that I understand my strengths and weaknesses, and I play to my strengths, and I work on improving my weaknesses, and I'm honest about them, and I surround myself with people who have strengths that are my weaknesses, etc. Okay? That even works in a relationship. You don't marry someone who is just like you and has all your strengths. You're really looking for, even though the dating game would have you think that you're looking for someone just like you, that's really not what you're looking for. You can find that out when you meet people. Self-regulation is the ability to recognize where you have impulses, passions, or strengths or weaknesses, when to act on them and when not to. When not to say that comment that might be right in a meeting, but it's going to set the meeting off in the wrong direction, not accomplish the goal, maybe push someone's button that isn't going to help get to the goal and the button. It's recognizing that you have a passion about something and you got to temper that passion, those kind of things. Okay. Then motivation, and this is this idea of having a passion or motivation for your work that's something beyond just money. I told you when I started my career, I went through a magazine that said, "Oh, accountants make good money. I'm going to go do that." I didn't really have a purpose beyond that. And since then, in jobs I've had, I always have kind of a second bottom line. Nothing will turn you on more than watching people develop. You can work. I worked for. And when I was in Armstrong, I shared this. I worked for a lady named Helen Davis, who was an ex-school teacher who had an incredible ability to read people. She taught us employee involvement. We turned factories around using employee involvement. And I saw people that I would have fired and wrote off become the most productive people I've ever met. And the only thing that changed was the way we treated them. And so that kind of, and whether it's your faith, whether it's environmental, whether whatever your passion is. Have something beyond just, I want to make a lot of money, because at the end of the day, making a lot of money doesn't make you happy, right? Sure, you've done that now that you're making millions, right?
My bank is making millions.
I have a little stake in the ground. I used to ride my bicycle to the University of Maryland with an Army backpack. Went to hang out at the health food store. I made $2,500 a year in a student job. And I was happy as a lark. And now I have multiple houses and cars and all that, and I'm no happier. Those things just keep you busy. So some motivation beyond yourself. Empathy, that's being able to understand and put yourself in the shoes of someone else and being able to adjust in that meeting for that person that has got a real problem with something or a passion about something, and how to work around it, how to feel what they feel. Okay? And then the last one was the social skills, and that again is this idea that if you can't present, sell an idea, I don't care if you're the most brilliant accountant, most brilliant auditor out there, you're going to be challenged in your job to move ahead. Okay? I had a guy when I started at Armstrong. I was in a training facility working in corporate accounting. He was my roommate. He was a 4.0 student from Wharton. he was a brilliant guy. He was building a model ship in our dorm room, with detailed model ship. I'm like, this guy's freaking brilliant. I come home one day, and he's packing his bags. He's leaving. I said, where are you going? He goes, I just got let go. I said, why? He goes, well, they said I wasn't able to relate well and communicate effectively with people. And, I'm thinking, they're getting rid of this guy? This guy's freaking brilliant. But he wasn't able to, present ideas and that kind of thing. And that's why, as I challenged you last time, every chance you get to present, go for it. Even if you get nervous, if you don't like to present, because you get good at it by practicing. That's why in this class we're doing presentations and that kind of thing. Okay? So just real important, the article's there, I encourage you to read it. Any questions about it? Anything? No? Make sense? Okay? Make that a priority. Okay, I mentioned to you that I've been to lots of charm schools, and the best training I ever got was going to the Human Performance Institute in Orlando, Florida. And this is a place I mentioned last time where they train professional tennis players, football players. It's $4,500 for 2.5 days of training. You spend a lot of the time in the gym. They run complete blood analysis and body work. And it's the idea that with athletes, what they do is they teach them, they take them from number 200 on the tennis circuit to number 1, and they don't teach them anything about tennis. They teach them how to engage intensely and then disengage. And that is the way the workplace is. It is not a marathon, it's how effectively you can engage intensely and recover. So if I'm playing Shiva in a tennis game and I'm trying to be on for 2.5 hours, I'm going to lose. And that's my personality, because I'm a type A personality person, so I try to put all my energy into something continuously. And I wish I could go back and do it over again, whether it's in my personal life, in my professional life, or in my community or whatever. I could have done a lot better. So I'm going to take you through this, but and just to give you some actual statistics, that looks like an MBA student in the Rutgers program here. I don't know why this one isn't coming up here. Gee, if you know what I need to do there. So I hope you guys don't feel like this. Couple of statistics here. Disengaged, this is from an actual study, a third-party study that was done. Disengaged workforces decreased operating income 33% and earnings per share by 11%. Disengaged employees cost U.S. business $300 billion a year, and absenteeism, lower productivity, just forget it. Employees believe the payoff for a corporate engagement is improved performance, increased job satisfaction, improved balanced work life, and provide better overall health. And by the way, when we went to this training, yeah, question?
Some of that statistics, like how do you exactly determine, like how much stress, it says there's a footnote, it says stress in the workplace, like how much do you actually determine, like how much money is lost through stress? Yeah.
Well, what they did is they actually surveyed executives and asked them in an anonymous thing, how engaged are you? They're doing engagement, and then they looked at the financial impact of that. Granted, it's challenging to do, but this was their opinion. They felt that that they were not engaged in their work, and disengagement is a real issue in a lot of companies, and probably in most companies. Good question. Any other question? Okay. And challenge me too. I'd like to know if you disagree with this, because I'm, in full disclosure, I'm still learning to do some of this stuff. My challenge is in the area of eating, because I still go home in the evening, and I'm going to teach about eating strategically. I unwind by grazing. I'm not hungry. I'm just eating. At 9:30 at night, eating. Yeah.
So did they integrate this with the balanced work-life balance, or is this something?
No, it's a different approach, but and actually the Human Performance Institute is owned by a local company here now called Johnson & Johnson, and we are actually looking at it in our environmental health and safety and implementing it. The reason I got to go to this thing is because the senior management, the former senior management of Siemens, Klaus Kleinfeld, is now the CEO of Alcoa. He went to this. And he used to run the New York Marathons and all this kind of stuff. And he was so impressed that he took the whole board of Siemens and sent them to this. The board then got caught up in the scandal. I don't think there's any relationship there that happened with us. So, but so one of the board members and my manager and said it was outstanding training, so I got a chance to go to it, but not directly related now. Okay, good. Yeah, just jump in with questions. I'm going to go a little fast here. All right, 65% of employees are disengaged and don't give their best effort, and 21% of employees are, actually toxic, or, and this was based on an anonymous survey that was actually done. Okay, so increased work demands, and I've described full engagement as the acquired ability to invest your full energy right here and right now, so when it's needed, and then to know when to disengage from something. Okay, so let's do a quick quiz. All right, I want you to look at these 5 questions, and I want you to answer them honestly. Okay, skillful, true, just a true and false question. Just write 1 to 5 on a piece of paper and just mark this down. This won't count against your grade. Skillfully investing time in things and people you care about spawns harmony and fulfillment. True or false? True or false? True. Good. Human spirit is fueled from a different energy source than the physical body. True or false? False. False. Okay? The best way to think about one's business career is as a marathoner, not a sprinter. True? Okay? Protecting yourself and others from high stress is an important part of your leadership. True. True? Okay. You guys got 1 out of 4 right, so that was pretty good. Okay, why? Skillfully investing time in things and people who care about spawns harmony and fulfillment. That's wrong, because, or it's not totally wrong. Investing time is important, but managing energy, not just time, is the key to extraordinary results. Because you only have a limited amount of time. We all get 24 hours in a day. But energy is something that you can manage to take care of people. Our most critical resource is energy, not time. Okay, so that's the first one. And when we talk about energy, we're talking about it on 4 dimensions. Okay. Physical, which if I'm going to run a marathon, I need energy to run. Emotional, that's the ability, you know how you get worked up about something? You know what your body does when that happens? It releases cortisol into your system. Okay, so that's the energy booster that allows you to lift a car off a little child or something. Okay, but if you keep under stress and you're releasing emotional cortisol into your system, it's damaging your system. Mental, that ability I told you about the tennis player that's able to do that volley and then he disengages for 30 seconds until the next serve. He mentally pulls back. If he starts going, how did I do that? Why did I screw that shot up? It's going to affect his game. And then they call it spiritual. It's really not a religious thing. It's more this idea if you have a mission in life, you have something you want to accomplish. You're in this MBA program because you guys want to accomplish something. And are your actions consistent with your mission? And are you going to, at all costs, finish your mission? Okay? And I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. Okay? All right, so that's where it is. Okay, so here's your life, you guys. What happens as you guys are all still, some of you are still climbing up here into your prime here in terms of your capacity. At about 30, your capacity starts to wane. Okay, so for women, 27. For men, 25. The women mature faster than men, as you noticed, right? But all of us about 30, then your capacity starts going down, but the demands go up. So some of you are married and have children in here. A lot of you are still single. What's going to happen in the years ahead? You're going to go over the 30, right? And you're going to have children maybe. You're going to have a career with increasing responsibility. You're going to have a mortgage. You're going to have college expenses. So your demand on your time and energy is only going to get higher. So if you don't do something to bridge that gap between capacity and demand, that's where stress is. Because it's real stressful if you're 55 years old and you don't have the energy to run with your grandkids or to deal with a demanding job that has you traveling 70% of the time. Okay, so that's why we got to do something, because age begets us all. None of us are going to escape that. All right. So the human spirit is fueled from a different energy source than the physical body. No, that's not true. The human spirit needs the same energy source as the emotional energy takes the same energy it takes to run a marathon. Have you ever been in a meeting or been in a situation where you're really stressed and you're trying to have a discussion, or you're really exhausted, and you're trying to have a discussion with your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend about something, and you get irritable, that's because it takes energy to have an intimate discussion with somebody. It takes energy to do what I'm doing, to present up here. It takes energy to be a student in the MBA program, okay? And the thing that we're going to show here in this is that, keep teaching in this, is the mind and the body and all of that, in order to build energy, needs challenge, okay? I hate playing games. My wife and my family, they play games for hours. I hate playing games, you know, board games and card games and all that. They'll play for 8 hours. I'm starting to play some games because I know it's going to help my mental ability. But the secret to building energy is simply this. If I take my arm and I lift weights, it's going to break down a muscle and then it's going to build it up again when I rest, when I recover, right? And the same is with your mind. They found that, for example, shift workers, the idea is too, if I put a cast on my arm, what's going to happen to my arm? I'm going to avoid all stress on my arm, all discomfort on my arm. What's going to happen to my arm? It's going to atrophy, right? It's going to get weaker. And that's what happens to us if we're not no pain, no gain, but no challenge, no growth, no gain. Okay? Alzheimer's, for example, one of the treatments for Alzheimer's or prevention is to challenge your mind, continually challenge your mind. My wife, I mentioned, is from the older Amish, and they take care of their elderly, not in nursing homes, but they involve them in the family, and they have responsibility into their 90s. And their incidence of dementia and Alzheimer's is much lower than, and it's not because they're more healthy or anything, they eat all the junk weed, it's because they're engaged. Their minds are engaged. Okay? Is this making sense so far? So until we push beyond normal limits, we don't grow. Best way to think about one's business career is a marathoner, not a sprinter. Okay? No, that's not true. Life is a series of sprints. Life is engaging intensely and then recovering. That's how those tennis players go from number 200 to number 1. They learn to manage the energy because we only have a finite amount of it, and it's going to decrease, as we showed in that slide, over time. Okay? Okay, so play tennis, conduct your business, do it all with the idea that I'm going to engage intensely and then I'm going to disengage. So when I am doing this, when I'm presenting something, I need my energy, I need to stay engaged. But as soon as I stop, I'm going to disengage. I'm going to allow my body to recover. If you're taking a test, you put everything into taking that test, and then you recover before the next class. Okay? And they tell you if you sit at a desk, okay, for more than 40 minutes, it actually impacts your cognitive ability because you reduce the circulation going to your brain, and your ability to do things and your energy level is going to drop off significantly. So get up, take a walk, go walk to see someone instead of sending an email. Do something to move. Okay. So this idea, you must recover every 90 to 100 minutes. And they did a study that shows that people that are shift workers, that rotate shifts in jobs, that their life expectancy is much reduced, below average, because they don't get to recover because they're rotating through shifts. Yeah?
How long is like a recovery period? Like, because that just says you should recover every 90 to 100 minutes, but like how long should you be recovering?
It can be, and the idea I gave to the tennis player, it can be just for a minute or two, just so you get your body is able to recover. Now, depending on how long you went, it might be longer, but you need a time to recover. Like when I exercise now, I do anything from stand-up paddleboarding to riding a boring, exercise bike in the gym to, but what I do is I go 1 minute as hard as I can go, so I can't have a conversation with you. And you can do anything for 1 minute. And then I recover 3 times that amount. So if I do 2 minutes, then I recover 3 times that amount. And I really recover. I don't go on a treadmill from, all out to brisk jog. I let myself recover. And I spent 30 years of my life as a fanatic about exercising and running and doing all this stuff. And you know what I did? I advanced the aging process, as evidenced by my gray hair, and I wore my joints out, as evidenced by the surgery I had on both of my knees. Because, have you ever seen a lion that that jogs for 45 minutes, or anyone in nature, this sort of hunter-gatherer concept where we were made to do incredible sprints while we're chasing a rabbit or something, with a spear, and then we recover. We were not made to go on an exercise bike and go for 90 minutes all out. You're just advancing the aging process and wearing your body out. Yeah.
Well, that's funny because that's like the new biggest workouts are all high intensity, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
Insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more. I guess it's more natural.
Yeah. So the idea is, but the other one is the lady sitting on the exercise bike with a cup of coffee and the Vogue magazine and just pedaling. That ain't doing anything either, except it's burning some calories. But unless you get yourself at some point in everything in life to some level of discomfort and then recover, you're not increasing your energy levels. We're talking here about managing energy, not time, not stress, and not really exercise or losing weight or physique or any of that. We're just talking about energy because it's the energy you need to engage with your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc., to run a marathon, to solve a problem at work, to do automated analytics is the same energy, and you only have so much of it. So you got to use it right, and you got to use it as a sprinter. You got to engage intensely and then disengage. Yeah.
Here's, when you do the stress and recovery, is that in equal intervals?
Is that what?
Is that in equal intervals, or do you more or less play it by ear to figure out how much?
Yeah, it depends. I'm a little older than you guys, and so 1 minute is plenty for me. But the other thing, it's a little psychological. I can do anything for 1 minute. I can go all out for 1 minute or something. And they've actually shown now, and this is what they taught us how to train. They took us in the gym, and there were NFL football players in there, and they taught us how to train this way. And the recovery includes, because you're going all out, whether it's for 1 minute, for 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, stretch, and then recovering 3 times that amount, they taught us to take the next day off. Don't, because you've got to break down. Your body's got to rebuild. Your body's got to recover. So it can be, you might be comfortable going for 3 minutes all out and then recovering for 9 or something. And I'm going to show you that eating there is the same thing. It's a strategic way to eat. Does this make sense? I mean, and some of this is new physiological research too.
But isn't there individual variability as well?
Oh, sure. And you got to find what's right for you. I'm not saying go do 1 minute and then 3 minute recovery. That's what I do. But I'm the guy who used to run 5 miles every morning, and if your car was broke down, I would run right by you because I had to get my 5 miles in. And then when my knees got screwed up, I started riding a bicycle 26 miles in the hills of Lancaster County for 10 years, round trip every day. And I love it. I mean, it's addictive. It's like endorphins, and you love it. And I'm motivated to exercise. I can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and exercise, but it wasn't healthy because I was just wearing myself out. I was just doing too much. It was insanity. But notice that insanity thing's all about washboard abs, which I don't have, and that's more about vanity, which is another problem. Anyway, protecting yourself and others from high stress is an important part of your leadership. Well, the idea is not really, because we need some stress, we need some discomfort to grow. At my age, I'm just starting to value a little bit, it's hard, but to value adversity in life. Because it's through adversity that Abraham Lincoln became a great president. It's through adversity that you grow. It's in those times of adversity you grow. And you could start to recognize that in life, because all of us are either coming out of a crisis, going into a crisis, or in the middle of one. And that's life. That's how your life's going to be. That isn't just when you're a student. It's all through life. I don't care if you're a billionaire. You got issues because people are ripping you off or something. You got something to worry about. Okay. So this is the idea. I won't go into this in a lot of detail, but you have a current capacity level. The only way to grow that energy is to take yourself beyond the limits a little bit, and not pain. You shouldn't be doing something that's painful, but you should be doing something that's uncomfortable in all areas of life. I don't like to play games. I'm playing Scrabble with my wife and her friends because it's helping me, get my mental capacity. But if you don't stress a little, there's no growth. Okay. But you don't want to do insanity. You don't want to overstress. Okay. Okay. So that's the concept, right? And I'm going to make sure I give Chi this time for ACL. But this is as important as ACL because you guys need energy for this program, right? How's your energy level? Good? Okay, so eating. And you know what they did? Oh, by the way, they tested us in there on everything in this Human Performance Institute. They said 3/4 of the executives, these are senior executives from most companies, men and women, have serious health issues. Not they have some health issues. They did blood pressure, glucose levels, full blood work. That most executives have serious issues, okay, health issues. And you guys don't want to be there. Okay, so we're going to talk about eating strategically. And by the way, through all of this, it's the 80-20 rule, okay? 20% of the time, do whatever you want to do. Eat the Twinkies and the things you love. But 80% of the time, follow, okay? So, eat late, light, and often. You've heard that before, but that is a good guideline. And this is the area where I struggle because I do fine for breakfast and lunch, but at dinner, I just pig out. I mean, and I was raised that way, and it's so hard to change. I got my wife holding me accountable for it, but she does the same thing. So. Okay, so controls cravings, decreases likelihood of overeating, maintains muscle mass, prevents excess storage. By the way, one of the things they taught us was your body is made with a survival instinct. So you go more than 3 hours without eating, and your body says, hey, Raquel has stopped eating, and she is in survival mode. So when Raquel says, I need energy to take this test in the MBA program here, her body says, okay, well, we're preserving the fat because Raquel hasn't eaten for three hours. So go burn muscle tissue or brain tissue, you know, or burn more of that than you would. So you take a small snack of 75 calories to 100 calories, which is only half of one of those energy bars, and you eat one of those every 3 hours. Your body is not in survival mode, and it will burn fat rather than muscle tissue. So here you are working out at the gym, and you're building up this muscle, and then your body's burning the muscle because it thinks you're in survival mode. Okay? Sumo wrestlers, you know how they gain weight? You think they eat a lot? Well, they do, but you know how they do it? They skip breakfast and lunch. How many skip breakfast in here? They skip breakfast and lunch, and then they eat 10,000 calories for dinner, and then they go to bed. So if you want to look like Charlie here, just keep doing that. So what you want to do is you want to eat strategically. You want to not let your glycemic level, we'll talk about that, just your sugar level, go too low because you didn't eat, or go too high because you ate screaming yellow zonkers, the whole bag, okay? You want to keep it in this thing here. And there's ways to do that because there's high and low glycemic foods, okay? And we'll talk about that in a second. But and so you want to do like kind of a portion thing. So Chi, hold up your hand like this, okay? My hands, I'm a little taller than Chi, and my hand's a little bigger than hers. And some of you guys that are real big would have bigger hand than me. And so what you want to do is you want to manage portions. And the way to do that is you want to get fruits and vegetables, protein-rich foods, and grains in a sort of 40-40-20. And you can vary this based on your. I actually started because I was having problems with my knees, not eating any grain for a while. I still do, but and my inflammation in my knees just cleared right up. Felt great. So you can vary that. But what you want to do is use this balance, and then for servings, you can use not the whole hand, but this part of your hand. So a serving of protein, piece of fish, is about the size of your hand here, okay? A serving of vegetables or fruits, again, about the size of your hand here, okay? Just as a guideline, because it tends to work with your body, you know. But, you can vary that. And strategic snacks, eat low glycemic foods mixed with medium glycemic foods, okay? And bridge glucose between meals with a snack, again, 100, depending on the size, if you do 150 calories. And again, if you read those little energy bars, a lot of them are 200 calories, okay? So you want to just, you know what I do? I carry a trail mix with me. I forgot it today, and I just have a little trail mix, and so once every 3 hours, I make sure I at least take a few nuts, and I love nuts. I could eat them all day. So here's a glycemic index thing. I won't go into this. It's in the slides. But so if you're going to eat things like rice that's high glycemic, eat something else with it that's lower glycemic. So protein type things are lower glycemic, and these are moderate ones, and then these are the things that are high glycemic. It's not saying you can't eat these things or drink these things, but if you do, you should do something to help balance it out so you're not spiking up your energy level. Okay? Because the old saying is, you know, the higher you go up, it's going to let you down higher. So, you know, just maintain that cycle where you don't let it drop down because you eat something within 3 hours, okay? And again, we're talking here about managing energy. So this is where your energy level. You don't want your energy level to go way up and then be the sumo wrestler that goes to bed after you ate all that pasta, and then you're just putting weight on, you know, that you're probably not going to be happy about. Okay, so how do you know when to stop eating? Okay, I love this. You know, you don't want to get to where you're in, you know, food coma. You know, that's where I'm at night. I'm in a food coma. You know, I eat too much. Clothes feel tight. I mean, one thing that motivates me not to gain weight is I have a wardrobe and I have a 32-inch waist that I've had since I was 16. And I am not going out and re-wardrobing just because I'm eating too much. You know, I mean, you know how clothes cost, especially you women. I'm not going to go out and buy new clothes just because so I stop eating if I start getting too tight. But if you want to maintain your weight, feel full, not stuffed, bloated, okay? You want to lose weight, just that feeling of satisfied, not hungry. The other problem I have is I eat too fast. So by the time my body's saying, you know, I grew up in a family with 7 kids, and my dad would put, you know, the steak out on the table, and we'd be like, you know, and we learned to eat fast, so you got to eat, you know. So, but, you know, you want to, if you get that, you want to lose weight, just feel satisfied, not hungry anymore, and food lasts 2 to 3 hours. Some foods last a little longer, okay? All right, got it on the food, so it's this eat small amounts. Next one is exercise, and I talked about that. I love this picture here. You're at the fitness center, and they're all going up the escalator to get to the fitness center. So, okay, so here, manage energy. We ought to talk about some of this. You want to, one thing, and exercise is not just exercise, it's around sleeping too. And you want to get 7 to 8 hours sleep. You know, the people who come to me and say, I don't need 3 hours of sleep at night, man. I'm just, you know, built that way. Baloney. That's not good for you. And that's what they taught us at least. And you want to try and just go to sleep at the same time. Sleeping in on weekends isn't good for you because it throws off your energy and your body. And have a ritual. For me, it's reading. You know, I read in the evening until I feel tired, and then I go to bed. And sometimes if I'm not sleeping well, I get up and start reading until I feel sleepy, and then go to sleep. But have some kind of ritual, because sleep is a component of energy management. Okay. So take the stairs, not the elevator. I work on the 6th floor of the Siemens building. I walk up twice a day. With my briefcase, it's always harder in the morning. Never get used to 6 flights. 4 flights I can do. 6 flights is always a little stress, but I know it's good for me, you know. Walk to another apartment, don't email, take a shower, not a bath. You burn 5 times as many calories standing up than you do sitting down, okay? So we got this new way of working now at work, and we have these desks that you press this here, and the desk comes up. I work half my day standing up when I'm in the office. And at home, I'll show you my desk at home here. I got one of these light desks, and so that's my office at home. There's a jacuzzi here on the right, and there's a view of the Atlantic Ocean right out the window. So I work from home as much as I can. But this life desk, this thing, I just turn a button, adjust it, adjust down. I can sit down and then stand up. Now you shouldn't stand up all the time because that's not good for you to stand in one place for too long. So you want to move around. You know, I have a little headset and I talk and just walk around when I talk. So 5 times as many calories for those of you that are counting. Okay. And you want to exercise safely. It's quality, not quantity. Planned use of movement. So, like I shared, you know, do something where you engage intensely and then you recover in exercise. And it can be anything. It can be lifting weights, vary the muscles that you use. You can lift weights really hard for 30 seconds or a minute, and then just recover. Let yourself recover. You know, those are the people sitting on the bench like this, you know, for hours in the gym. I always wonder if they ever really are lifting anything. You know, work all your muscles, stretching. Okay, and this again, I won't go into this, but this is you don't want to be in zone P there because that's where you're tearing down your system, okay? You want to be in zone D there where you're discomfort. You know, if it's not a little uncomfortable, you're not growing, okay? You're not increasing that energy level. This is all about increasing energy levels, okay? We already covered a lot of this. And to tell what is a good, you know, max out for you, whatever rep you can do at something in 8 to 12 reps. So you want to use a weight that you can only do 8 to 12 reps to give yourself some stress. If you can do 15 plus, it's too light and you can't even get the thing off the ground for more than 7 or 8. It's probably too heavy. Okay, again, work all the muscles, okay? All right? So then we talk briefly here, and I'm hurrying up because I want to go through here, but about this idea of mental and emotional. So I engage intensely, then I recover, okay? And whether you're disciplining your children, whether you're dealing with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whether you're having an argument with your boss at work, spend the time to make sure that you're ready and you have the energy to engage and it's the right time. Don't make important decisions after 11 o'clock at night. Don't get in an argument with your spouse when you're both, going through a rough time. Just recognize that you got to recover and you need energy. And if you don't have energy, you might want to postpone that discussion. If you just came in the door and you're tired and you're burned out, that's not the time to talk about why the checkbook isn't balancing. Okay, so now let's talk just briefly here about mission and vision, okay? Because this is really important. Okay, that we all have some kind of mission in life. Okay, I want to be the CEO of Siemens. I want to be the lead partner at E&Y. I want to be a great mom. I want to spend time with my kids. I want to contribute to society. I want to save the whales. I want to whatever it is that you want to do in life. Okay, and you should write that mission down. Someone said a mission or a vision is a compelling picture of a preferable future. And the things you write down, my wife and I do this every year. We use what's called a 4-term model. And we write down our vision 2 to 5 years out. Then we write down the ground where we are today and test the vision against that. And we write down our energy and motivation. Why are we going to achieve this vision? What's our motive? And then we put goals and we set those goals and we build a budget around doing that. But you should write down your mission so you're clear about what your mission is, okay? And at all costs, then, fulfill your mission, finish your mission. They told a story at this seminar, just real quick, and I saw this on a video. There are 3 NFL football players, and they told them during the seminar, your mission, gentlemen, is to run 1 mile in 9 minutes, touch the white fence down here in Orlando, Florida, and then come back. Will you finish your mission at all costs? And these 3 NFL football players, and they have it on camera, said, yes, we will do that. 9 minutes isn't bad for an NFL football player, You guys could probably all do it. So they told them, okay, one thing you ought to know, this is Orlando, Florida, and there's lakes on either side of the path you're running down, and sometimes there's alligators bathing in the sun, so just be careful about them, or water moccasin snakes. Are you going to fulfill your mission? Yes, sir, we are. Okay. All right, ready, set, one other thing. Once in a while, there's wild boars down here, but they're very rare, so don't worry about that. Okay, go. So these guys start off, and they have this on camera, and they get about 3/4 of the way, and they hear this wild boar in the woods. And these guys stop like this, and they go, and then they hear it again, and they turn around and run back to the trainer. And they said, the trainer goes, did you guys finish your mission? No, man, the guy says, we saw a wild boar. He goes, you saw a wild boar? He said, yeah, we saw a wild boar. So they did it again now with first responders and Navy SEALs that came to this thing, and they trained there too. And they said, same thing, same story. And they said, go. And they went out, and they got about 3/4 of the way, and they heard this wild boar, and they stopped. And they moved slowly into the woods, and they saw up in a tree a trainer with a wild boar call. And they went down, touched the fence, and came back. So they finished their mission at all costs. And sometimes, the other lesson in that is sometimes you need to move toward the things that are challenging you. If you're hesitant to make a speech, then make some speeches. Go in the woods carefully and make some speeches and get better at the emotional intelligence skills. So here's the problem is that we have these goals, okay? But our mission is, our actions are inconsistent with our mission. Because I want to spend time with my kids. I want to spend time with my family. I want to be a great producer at Siemens. I want to be a leader. I want to develop people. I have all these. I want to save the whales. I want to do whatever. Okay, but I have no energy because I don't. Do you exercise, right? No, I'm too busy to exercise. Do you eat right? No, I don't have time to do that. Okay, so what we're really doing is our actions are inconsistent with our mission. Okay, so what they had us do in this training is they had us write down our mission, so it was clear. I want to be a better spouse, father, mother, kids, worker, innovator in my field. And then write down my old story. My old story is I'm too busy to spend time with my wife, too tired to spend time with my kids, too burned out to take any other projects on at work. In order to be, I love this Ernest Hemingway, in order to be a great writer or a person must have a built-in shock-proof crack detector. Because that's a bunch of crap. You know, you could do that, but you're not doing it. And this is where you guys are, is where you develop those habits. So then they had us write out a new story that's committed. I'm committed to my mission, to completing my mission at all costs, and I'm going to do these things in order to assure that. You know, they ran all this stuff on us, and everyone had high blood pressure and all the, you know, because you're not going to spend time with your kids if you've got high blood pressure and no energy, right? How are you going to do that? How are you going to be a great performer at work if you, you know, have no energy? You know, I traveled 80% of the time for 7 years, and one thing I did everywhere I went, even if it meant just getting up at 5 in the morning and running on the Isar River in Munich, I exercised, and that helped me helped me tremendously in my job. Now at the time I hadn't attended this, so I was doing this sort of burnout exercise. So I'm going to work out 3 days a week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to reduce my cholesterol. I'm going to have a date night with my wife. I'm going to complete my project management training by this date. So these goals are all together. And you know, you may have a boss at work that doesn't support this, but I'll tell you, you know, if you don't, you know, again, this is a series of sprints. It's a long career. If you don't have the energy to do this, and if you put all your energy into work and have no energy for your personal life, you ain't going to be much use to Siemens, E&Y, or anyone else. So, you know, so manage your energy. Okay, I'm done. Any questions? Yeah. Put your name cards out too, for sure. Too. I don't have them all memorized yet. So. Yes, Caitlin.
So like one of the things you mentioned is to disengage mentally. Like for example, like say a tennis player would, after serving, whether it's a net or not, would disengage mentally. What's like a good way to disengage mentally? Do you just stop thinking about it? Or?
Yeah. I mean, what they described with, I think Sampras was one of them, some of the others, that they just learned to, you know, just put their mind on something they love doing, or someone they love, or something, you know, so, sort of a mantra. What's that word? Mantra they use in meditation. You know, meditation, whatever works for you, but get your mind off of how did I screw up that point, or he's coming after me with that racket, or you know, or whatever. You know, something that can just someplace you like to be. You know, your mind's an amazing thing. It can take you anywhere. You know, you read a good novel and you're in New Jersey somewhere, but you're really in the Bahamas somewhere enjoying life, you know. So do something to take your mind off, and don't feel guilty about that, because you think, oh, I'm not focused on the game, or I'm not focused on my job because I'm taking a minute or two after that presentation to disengage. You got to do that. You know? Then your mind actually recovers. It rebuilds brain cells, you know, even in a very short time. Okay. Yes, Joyce.
Is it fair to say this is just another vision of having a balanced life?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Yeah, I think it is.
For all of it, but I'm just saying, like, for the most part, most people relate to it as a balanced life. Too much of anything is not good.
Yeah.
Exercise,
Yeah.
putting too much energy into the wrong thing.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things out there that say to us, don't live a balanced life. You know, say you gotta, you know, put in 100 hours at the workplace, you gotta do this, you gotta run, you gotta do insanity, you know, so there's a lot of messages sending a different message, you know, so absolutely, agreed. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to Chief. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions about it, again, full disclosure, I'm still struggling with some of this stuff, so, but it was, for me, the best training I ever had. And I've been to all kinds of charter schools, you know, and it's the best training I ever had. Oh, I didn't take the microphone. Okay, thanks.